Hey, good evening. Tonight is about a simple technique you can use to know more about you. And if your first thought is, what, like I don't know myself? Of course you do. But for most of us, there's more to learn, and learning can make life so much better. This is Daniel Speraw tossing you short, upbeat, and unusual videos focused on supporting the life changes you want to make. Unusual as in not the usual information. So, for that powerful eye-opener, let's dive in. You are pretty much normal. You know this, not as an idea or even a belief. You know it deep down, absolutely, without doubt. Oh, you may have some problems, an issue or two, but nothing major. The same cannot be said for those around you. They are not normal. They have real problems, definite issues, and you know this because you see those problems without even trying. You always have. Of course, those around us have the same absolute knowledge that they're normal and that it's you and I who have the problems. How can this be? If you don't already know what's coming, brace yourself. The official term for this phenomenon is projection, and you've probably heard the definition. When it's too uncomfortable to see our own faults, we don't. Instead, we keep seeing them in others. Don't believe it? Imagine three men who have a tendency to talk too much. Although each man's behavior is exactly the same, any one of them might say, "I'm outgoing. You talk a bit too much, but him, what a motor mouth." Still not sure? You can also hear this phenomenon. The next time someone's talking negatively about another, listen. Aren't they talking about themselves? And maybe you've even noticed how people ignore their own issues but are quick to see them in others, like liars believing everyone does it, and slackers at work who become upset if someone even looks like they're slacking. I once watched a father yelling at his son, calling him out of control and a pig. As long as I knew them, the only one I ever saw out of control was the dad, who also happened to be 40 pounds overweight. Although we easily see the problems of those around us, we don't see all of them. In fact, we only see a few, and those few are, yes, our own. Being mostly blind to some of our own issues has always caused us problems, and it continues to make life more difficult. We just can't see what stops us from easier, better relationships, more fulfilling careers, and money too. Too often we can't see what's holding us back, and here we are, surrounded by mirrors. So, this is what I wish I'd known decades ago. Whenever we feel annoyed with someone's looks or their behavior, that's very likely something we're keeping from ourselves. I'll say it again. Whenever we feel annoyed with someone's looks or their behavior, that's very likely something we don't like about ourselves. A good example is the man above. It's easier for him to be irritated with the motor mouth than to see himself as a motor mouth. But until he claims his own problem, he can do nothing about it. And if he happens to be a salesperson who talks too much when he's nervous, with a client, his sales will continue to be lower. Now, if you find yourself feeling annoyed or even angry about another's looks or behavior, but don't see it in yourself, keep coming back to it. It might not be about you, but most probably is. And besides more self-knowledge, there's another upside to projection. It can be used to increase your own self-approval. Try this. When you feel negative towards someone, take a deep breath and let go of the tension in your body. Let it be okay with you that they have that problem. Mentally open yourself and accept them with their problem. Now, you might feel a lot of resistance when doing this, but stick with it. You'll not only be increasing your own self-approval, but also your empathy for others. Relaxing your body is the key. So, now you know how to know more about the most fascinating subject on a planet, a way to self-knowledge that's waiting to bring you a better life. Alright then, if you found this video supportive, will you do me a favor and support this channel? Subscribe and then click on the share button to tell a friend or two that here is not the usual information. And thanks. Your next video is about a terrible, energy-dead word that you probably use all the time. It's also about a word that's energy-filled and life-lifting. And you can see it the moment it pops out into the world this Tuesday evening at 8 Pacific Time. This is Daniel Speraw. I'll leave you now with some good quotes, a cute picture, and thanks for spending this time with me.